Senator Lynch Prada and members of the committee, thank you for listening to us. I know it's late and you put up with a lot so far, in terms of the extended evening. I'm a child psychiatrist, and I've been practicing in Rhode Island for about 30 years. I've had the privilege of leading the group of child psychiatrists in the state. I sit on the board. For almost 30 years, I've been participating, 25 years, I've been participating in the Children's Committee of the Substance Use and Mental Health Leadership Council of Rhode Island, which has taken over from the Council of Community Mental Health Centers in Rhode Island. The bottom line is I've been involved in both the system of care, trying to understand how to make things better in Rhode Island in general. I represented that group with their recent commission on legalization of marijuana in front of, chaired by Senator Miller. So, I've got some sense of what goes on with this. I'm associate medical director at Gateway Healthcare, now part of Lifespan. And the bottom line here is that I see children from all walks of life. And clinically, when I meet with them, I always talk to the child first. I ask them easy questions. What do you like people to call you? Who do you live with? Who's your parent? What's their name? Who's your other parent? How old were you when you lived with this one? How old were you when you lived with that one? Why did things change? How was that for you? Are you still in touch with them? Those are simple questions, but they end up showing who is the person. Who do you count on? Who do you love? Who loves you? Who was there when you needed them? And naming our parents and our sisters and those we hold most dear shares more than just some names. It brings the person into the room. It brings the child into the room. They know that they're really understood. And this bill speaks to those relationships. It sets standards for the court so that when they hear the conflicts of families, they've got some direction. It defines lines by which children and family form their identities. The inner sense of rootedness and identity is connected to knowing that certain people have really stood up in public and said, for as long as I live, for as long as we live, I'll be your parent. The converse of who do I claim, who do I need? Is also critical to development. We define ourselves and in some cases by opposition to the forebears that claim us and that we claim our own. And without family, we're all adrift. What the bill does is give a sense of rootedness to families that our outdated family law has failed to address. It addresses the commitments that the newest of parents bring to that budding relationship. It eliminates emotional ambiguity that comes up when the law says a parent is not quite a parent. It lets parents publicly state their commitment without delay, and it brings Rhode Island into the present. The current law gives standing to most parents, but there are too many children that are stuck because their parents do not have that kind of standing, and that is what this bill would do. Rhode Island has failed to update family law since 1979, and at that time, I'm just repeating things you guys have heard already. At that time, we adopted the current recommendation from the Uniform Law Commission. All we're talking about doing is taking that same Uniform Law Commission's recommendations and taking the most current version. It's not something really very different than that. So I'm going to dodge the rest of the stuff I had to say because I really don't want to just repeat things. But if I can be at all helpful, please ask questions.